Should I use my spotlight keys? Is probably a content creator's favorite question. Mainly because we never know during the week in which a card releases. Everyone wants to know, is a Series 5 card worth using your spotlight keys? I don't know. Well, but the ones that have come out, I have a pretty good idea. So I'm on vacation right now if you're watching the release of this. So let's take a look at all of the cards in Series 5 and put them in a tier list so you have a good idea as spotlights start to come on out over the next few weeks. My personal thoughts on if they're worth your spotlight keys, if they're worth 6,000 collector's tokens even. What are the best Series 5 cards in the game? The support has been absolutely tremendous while I've been gone, so please, as always, hit that like and subscribe button down below. We are here live on Twitch recording because it's a lot more fun to do this with the entire community, and I wanted to get everybody else's voice and opinion in on it, especially at certain moments, create a conversation, because that's what we like to do here on Twitch. So let's go on over, take a look at the Series 5 cards, and start placing them up into S through F. Now, as always, I keep the reminder out there, this is a slightly older list of images, so the numbers may not be correct to their current OT8 or adjusted stat lines since they've released. However, the cards we're going to talk about how they're operating in June, well, mid-June, I should say, at the time of this recording. So let's continue on. Eliath. 6'8 Eliath is still very good, just everyone leaves it alone. I could justify Eliath being 6'9 even with his current, mechanism. He's good, and very often ignored, but locking the turn 5 card, Cannonball was better, but then they hit Professor X, so it kind of dropped down Eliath even further. He's not as much of a security, guaranteed win as he used to be, so I'd say leave him in the B tier for now. That feels pretty good. Annihilus, boom, throw him up there. S tier card. Plain and simple. Super easy, S tier card, hands down. Being able to destroy or send over those negative powers and cards are just stupid good. Even at 5'6", he's absolutely fantastic. Big fan, big fan. Baron Zemo, the enabler of Mill, brought Mill decks officially to the forefront, and they're one of them. I know you and I are 100% there. They're one of the more annoying decks to play against, but that doesn't mean they're bad. It's just annoying. Yondu, into Cable, into Zemo, into Gladiator, you get the drill, right? That's tough. That's a tough deck to go up against. Doc Ock, you get the idea. I'm gonna leave him in the A tier because I do think that archetype is strong enough to say that it might not be the best meta deck, but it's still a very relevant deck consistently, and you need to run Baron Zemo to make that deck fully operate. Beta Ray Bill. Another really tough card here because when he does the thing, he can be a 424 without even trying. Beta Ray Bill, Jane Foster, Odin. Done. 424. That's stupid good. And out of all of the 3-card combos, he's one of the tallest 3-card combos in the game. To get a 24 power, plus Jane Foster at 9, plus Odin at 8. That's a lot of power that people forget about. So I'm gonna put Beta Ray Bill in the A tier because he's better than his Thor cohort. But very bottom of A tier, because if you're going to do the thing and you don't have Odin, you're still taking a 4/6 Beta Ray Bill, turning it to a 4/12. That's 12, and then a Jane Foster at 9. I look at the 4 and the 5, and I think, how does it compare with Sentry and Nihilus? Sentry and Nihilus, even with the adjusted Sentry at 4/8 and the Void at -8, that's still a better swing. Plus, there's Clog. And if it doesn't work, then they're still destroyed. So I'm more a fan of that combination, but Beta Ray Bill, Jane Foster as a 2-card combo should probably be looked at a little bit more in the community as you don't need to run that full combo, maybe just Beta Ray Bill and Jane Foster. I've been saying that for a while, but even I, with all the new shiny toys that come out into the game, I have not dove too heavy into it. Black Knight got a small hit recently via the Ebony Blade now having the ability to be reduced. So you can Shadow King it, so it did bring it down a little. But I still think it's better than Eliath. I still think that in a discard shell, Black Knight decks are really good. really, really good. It's very often a card you consider cutting, which is why I'm not going to put it in A or S tier. But if you are doing the big hella thing, Black Knight decks are good variations to work with. They're strong, they're consistent. And even as a small discard package, doing Black Knight, Blade, or Lady Sif, Ghost Rider, Infinite, that's a great package in and of itself to rock with. Black Swan at 3/5. You know, like, I've wanted this card to be good for so long because it's a really cool idea. The ability to make your 1-cost card 0 is good. And the stat line at 3/5 is good. But it's not helping enough. Even in a Drac dump deck, which is where I run her. It's the only place I ever run Black Swan. I don't run it in Bounce. I don't run it in Thanos. Nothing. It is exclusively a Dracula dump deck card. And even there, it can be cut. That's why it's going to end up all the way down at the bottom. So Black Swan, I'd love to see a small adjustment with. My nomination is exact same mechanic, but add the ongoing of the Infinity Stones cost 0. Force her to have a synergy with Thanos directly. That's my nomination. Let me know down in the comments what you think of that. Or what you would do for Black Swan. Blob, 6/0. Stops once it hits 15 and then just kind of plateaus. Still incredibly strong, but I think Red Hulk is now better, so I'm gonna put it at the bottom of A. Even with all of the adjustments that have happened to Red Hulk, I think Red Hulk is now better. It's almost only a Thanos or eventually an Arishem card, and that's it. Kyera. Tough card to rank because you constantly want to use Kyera and then you constantly cut Kyera because it all depends on the meta at the moment. Is there Killmonger? Is there Shang-Chi? At the time of this recording, Zoo is everywhere, and Kyera's value went way up, but to about a C tier. When there isn't Killmonger and there isn't Shang-Chi, I'd say she's probably a D tier card because you can always play around it. You can Cosmo, you can armor, you can do other things. I think right now she's a C tier card and not necessary. Cannonball. I feel so bad. He really got hit hard by the Prof exchange. He's now a 5/7, and we're still in this try to figure it out mode with Cannonball. We're still trying to figure out, is he now really truly good for defensive move? Is he gonna find a new home with a Stegron duo and Kingpin / Craven? Is it? What is Cannonball gonna do, man? He definitely took a huge hit. He was, because of Prof X and him, he was an S tier card. And yet again, now at 5/7, no longer with the Prof X synergy. I think that he's still a very good card, but nowhere near what he used to be as of a week ago plus. Corvus Glaive. You need Corvus Glaive to do the thing. Right? If you're gonna play a Hela deck right now, that's the best way to play a Hela deck. You put the risk back in, now that we have all the negative power out there, added on via Hela's new ability. And he's okay in ramp. Not the best. Like, I had some good luck with him, but not the best option in ramp. You still want to wave, you still want to Psylocke, you still want to Ravonna, you still want to do that stuff. Hope Summers, etc. So I'm gonna put him in B tier as well. Cull Obsidian. I mean, he's just, big stats always do well. Big stats always do well. There are moments where Cull Obsidian feels clunky, so he does require the deck he's organically was created for, which is Thanos, in my opinion. Getting Zoo is pretty good. But you constantly feel like you want him to be a little cheaper. Just a tad bit cheaper. I wouldn't say like play Zabu with him, but You drop him down in a Thanos deck, you ramp him out if you can. He's a very good card. Still a very good card. Elsa Bloodstone, same thing. She made a nice comeback now as a 3/3, giving the +2s. Made a nice comeback. At the moment, her bounce shell kind of got hit a little bit because you lost that Prof X piece. That's how big of a deal that adjustment was. So many different shells took a step back. But in the bounce setup, Angela, Hope, Elsa, Kitty, etc., I mean, she's mandatory to give you a ridiculous amount of extra power, and getting her to max out that ability, getting an extra +2, 4, 5, 6 times in a match, very doable. Galactus. Oh, how Galactus has risen and fallen from graces. It's very predictable. It's no long it's been out long enough now that people know what's coming. And I'm not saying buff Galactus, because Galactus decks are very good. But as you see the pattern, when they do the thing, they do the thing. But you can still beat a Galactus deck, even if it does the thing. Because then it's all about, do you also have the second thing? Is it the null? Is it the cannonball? Is it the death? Is it the whatever, right? There's an argument to be made about a 5-cost Galactus for funsies. There's an argument to be made. I'm not about it, but there is an argument to be made. 2/2 Grandmaster, much better at 2/2. I personally really wanted him just buffed to 2/1. I think his power was absolutely needed. Absolutely needed. But I'm not 100% sure if he's a necessary card still. Like, he has great cheeky mechanics, so I'm gonna put him in C tier, but that's all. Just High Evo. Man, does this man need a buff. High Evo needs a buff, hands down. It used to be one of the best decks in the game, and it has just slowly been phased out. Like, you can get High Evo to do the thing, right? You can get him to do the full combination and Cyclops and Misty Knight and A-Bomb, really. I think High Evo is a card where it's a deck that needs a little bit of love, whether it's giving Hulk an extra power or the High Evo card itself, bringing it up to 4/5, 4/6. Changing Shocker, I think, would be a good nomination too. It needs something, but there are high evolutionary shells that are very good. The toxic ones are probably the best right now. Toxic Control. So I'm gonna leave it at, I like it better than Galactus. So I'll put it above Galactus, but it's not a B tier card right now. Not to me. What would you do to High Evo to make it better? Because it has definitely fallen from grace. Hope Summers. S tier card. This is easy. Hands down. Best card of 2024, potentially to have come out. I think it is criminally underplayed for how good it is. Because any deck that it is meant for, that wants an extra energy, could be bounce, it could be ramp, it could be a billion different things. It's so easy, it's so consistent, and you can't counter it. Red Guardian, it's often played into a deck that the other card gets Red Guardianed. Move things off of it. All of the mana, all of the energy, always the good stuff. Probably the best card of the season, of the year so far. Iron Lad, he's almost always good. He's any deck that's very heavy on the on reveals, any deck that's very heavy on the ongoings. Stealing the whole ability, whether you know what that ability is or not, via Howard, if you've built a deck that all hits are good hits, Iron Lad at 4/6 is incredibly good stats. So you run it. It's a very flexible card. I'm gonna do that. This feels a little better. Yeah, I think this feels a little better here. Jeff the Baby Land Shark. Best Series 5 card, potentially? High play rate, flexible, cheap, decent power. I mean, yeah, we might make a Jeff tier. If he ends up still holding the #1 position, we'll make a Jeff tier. You know, but we will make add a row below. Kang. Because this card is just the bad. Yeah, I agree, GC. Like this one. Seriously, are they ever going to touch this card? Seriously, are they ever going to fix this card? Ever. Please. Loki. 4/5 Loki. Consistently one of the best decks in the game. Consistently. It's always able to compete. It comes in and out as a control element of metas, where if little card metas become too prevalent, boom, Loki makes an appearance. So I think it's an S tier card because of that. I think it's still one of the best decks in the game. However, it is one of the more difficult decks to play because you're not only playing your deck, you're also playing your opponent's deck. And you need to make the really difficult decision of, if I'm going to play my opponent's deck, when. That's a tough one. Mockingbird. This is a tough one here because I love Mockingbird. Mockingbird is incredibly strong, incredibly versatile. Thanos, Zoo, Gilgamesh, I mean, Surfer. It's almost worthy of a nerf because it's played in so many places. It's almost worthy of a nerf. Loki, yeah, exactly. Like, it's almost worthy of it. It's a really, really good card. Jeff goes into more decks, but Mockingbird is a very close second, if that. Ms. Marvel kind of fell from grace a bit at 4 power. It's amazing how that small adjustment changed her with the 2-card condition. I just don't think people are playing her enough. I still think she's a very solid card. But I also wouldn't go way out of my way to get her yet. If we have Lockdown come back as a major threat, yeah, her value goes up. But with the adjustments to Claw, her value has definitely needed a little more oomph, and it's not much yet. Nico Minoru, one of the best 1-drops in the game. Put her into any deck. Literally, put her into like any deck and she's pretty good. Move, Zoo, Destroy, Patriot, Loki, Gilga, yada yada. Like every single deck that Nico goes in, because of how flexible she is, it's very good. So I think she's more flexible than most. I'm gonna put her above Loki. This one's tough. Pixie is one of the toughest ones. Because you're playing into the RNG. And very often, like Pixie into Mobius, 2 into 3, that's a snap condition. That's a win. But if you don't get her on turn 2, it's tough. I like her better than Goliath. Proxima. Proxima really did help bring discard up, but the small adjustment that they made to Apocalypse definitely showed a much larger power change than I think many of us were anticipating. She's really good for her deck. That's it. She's like Corvus. Very good for that deck. Get it to do the thing, do the thing. Rulk, man, like it's just Red Hulk, S tier card, plain and simple. even though he's gone through what, 3 changes now? 2 changes, whatever it is. Now he's a 6/10 that gets +3s. And he's a constant threat. I think you put him in more decks than Hope Summers, though. It's like he goes into more decks than Hope Summers. Sebastian Shaw. I mean, tallest possible card in a Surfer deck, and that's it. I wish Sebastian Shaw found more homes, but without being able to target him directly in a more consistent way, why would I play Forge into Shaw when I can play Gladiator in a deck? You know, it's like that kind of stuff. Namora decks, sure, but no one does that. He's like Black Swan. He has one good deck, but when he does his thing, it's really good. So it's either bottom of C, top of D. Scar. I mean, the Big Dumb Idiots deck is really good, and he has a little bit of flexibility. We'll go towards the top of C. Super Giant. I still think this is the most underplayed card in the game. I think Super Giant keeps making appearances in top decks, and then everyone goes, meh. Can I cut it? She's very flexible. I'll leave it at the bottom of B for now, but I personally would love to rank her higher. But I'll leave her at bottom of B for now. Yeah, I agree. Shaw, in that deck, he's really good. Thanos. I mean, again, archetype defining card. He's gone through so many changes, and yet he's still pretty good, but I just don't think he's the S tier deck that he used to be. I think that now that his stones are about him, we haven't found the right combination of how to support him to let the stones still have some perk. He's still a great card. Still a great card. I'm just not... If I have to choose Thanos or Loki, I will take Loki. Overall, more games. Even though the mashup is different, like head-to-head, I still would probably play a Loki deck competitively over a Thanos deck. I mean, US Agent. US Agent... cracked. At 2/3, that gives the -4s now. This is a stupid good card. I mean, I'm throwing it into like Surfer decks. He's flexible. He was worth my time. I'm just debating. You do have to do a little bit of a build around, not much. So I think that makes him maybe the bottom of S. Iron Ladder, Agent, Thanos, or Agent. He's either top of A or bottom of S. USA, US Agent. Let's start here. Start here and then kind of go from there. Valentina. Constantly not needed because she's so easily replaced. So easily replaced. I think that, you know, you have Mirage, you play Mirage. You have Maria Hill, you play Maria Hill. You know, you have all of these other cards that are good. And with her ability doing the -3 cost and -3 power. Sorry, 2/2. I'm never like, you know what I want to play today? A Valentina deck. Feels bad. War Machine. War Machine. Just play War Machine. Just play War Machine. Play War Machine, people. We heard it for weeks. Play War Machine. Now that Professor X is gone. Now when are you playing War Machine? Never. That's a problem. I think War Machine needs an ongoing ability. I don't know what that looks like, but I think it needs an ongoing ability. 3-1 Werewolf by Night, who has gone through all of the changes. Still being figured out, but he's not as good as people wanted him to be when he re-released. So I'm gonna put him like here, because I think he's a little better than Proxima, but not much. White Widow. God, I love this card. Clog, Confusion. Definitely better than US Agent. Probably there. Nanosticks are still better, but I like that. And then lastly, one of my favorite one-cost cards in the game, and I've made the argument before that X-23 is the most influential one-cost card in the game. Because she brought Destroy into the competitive realm. Single-handedly. Nico was good. X-23 for Destroy, I think, is more important than Nico. So then, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put X-23 here and bring US Agent up. Nico's more flexible overall. In Destroy, X-23 is more needed, but Nico goes into more decks. And I think US Agent just absolutely slaughters. But wait, there's more. Because of the chat, they came to help me realize that I was missing a bunch of cards because the list was not updated between my two pages. So we now have these also to add on in. So we're gonna add on in Blink, the season pass card of last season. I think Blink is an absolutely fantastic, and I'm not being favoritist because I did the Marvel Snap video on Blink. I think she's an absolutely fantastic card. You do have to build around her, but she is really good in all situations there. She's really good in all situations. Gilgamesh got his 2 buff. Now he's up to 5'9", and it's so easy to get him to 5'14", so Red Skull stats and higher. With and without Blue Marvel. I've been playing some Silver Surfer shells that rock him as a turn 6 play with Kitty Pryde. Also fantastic. I think he's like, he might be S tier, but he's really, really close. You know, he's like the top of A, bottom of S right now, especially because he's so flexible for many people. I said in the very beginning, Makari, C tier card, not necessary, but I am making her work in several different shells. Namora, another really fun card that really surprised people in stats and still surprises people, even though now you kind of know when you're going up against a Namora deck, it's a lot more predictable. So her cube rate has definitely dropped a bit. I'd say she's still probably better than the Cannonball decks that are out there right now, but not by much. Nocturne, S tier card. Where in S tier, I don't know, but as much as I don't like playing Nocturne sometimes for all of those times that I get screwed, the chance on her is still very good. I personally don't like her better than Jeff. I don't. I do like her a lot though. I'm gonna put her... I'm gonna put her here. I think she's more flexible than Nico, but Jeff is still the best card in the game. Red Guardian, the best card you don't need. Bottom of S tier, plain and simple. Great counter card, great tech card. You can plug it into any deck, not a problem. But it's the best tech card you don't need. Easily replaceable, but if you do have him, you always consider him. Sage, I mean, this is a banger card. You can make the easy case for S, but I think she was better when Ravonna was way more present because of the Prof X games. She's still very good though. So if I had to do a Gilgamesh deck over a Sage deck, I'm doing a Gilgamesh deck. But Sage still, for a 3-cost stat line, is incredibly good. Incredibly good. You never feel bad getting Sage. Sasquatch, who I think has honestly gotten a lot of unnecessary hate. I don't know why people are just like crapping all over Sasquatch. I think he's still very good, especially in any Mysterio shell. Really good. You don't need it in bounce. It's always a 5/10, which is always great stats, you know, but it's a condition to have to work with that's a little more difficult than Cull Obsidians. So I'm gonna put down Cull Obsidian a little higher, and Sasquatch a little lower. Cersei, man, what a tough card to rank, because I've been burned. I've been burned by Cersei. She hurts. When she hurts you, she hurts you. But she gives you more competition, especially in Conquest. Like, to keep you in the game at the last minute, man, she's great for that. And GC, you said it right. If this was a for fun tier list, she'd be up here. But if this is a like competitive tier list, the unpredictability is what I'm trying to decide how much of it is worth it. And I'd probably put it like right around here in B tier. It's still really good. And then there's Thena, who I think is one of the better, she was my favorite pick of the month to go after. I absolutely love Thena. I think she's a stupid strong card. I would not be surprised to see her get dropped to a 2/0 eventually. She's incredibly good in Ravona and out of Ravona shells. I mean, she's got to be up here for me. Got to be up here. She's definitely over White Widow for me. I'm probably going to put her right there, which means I'm going to drop you and I'm going to drop you. I feel really good about that. All right. So there it is. There is the full Series 5 card tier list. There's really only one Series 5 card I want them to truly look at, and that's Kang. He is his own category. He's just broken. He doesn't work. He's not worth your time or effort. And second dinner, if you see this, please, for the love of everything, address Kang, or give us some idea of when you will. Black Swan has one deck. War Machine and Valentina always are looking to potentially skip. And then you start getting into the maybes. If you really want to play them and really play their archetype or really play their style, go for it. Then you get to the, okay, pretty goods. You get to the, yes, go ahead and invest into these, and for the love of everything, get them. Still think Jeff is the best card in the game. He's so incredibly flexible. I think that he is not always nerf worthy, especially now that Prof X is down, but he almost was there. There was a time where I was thinking Jeff should be a 2-2 because he was so flexible, mainly because of Professor X. And now he's just the perfect card. He is the quintessential perfect Marvel Snap card. So this is my list. And as always, it's not perfect, but it's mine. And I'd love to know what your thoughts are on Kang. What would you like to see? And if you want to take a look at the Series 4 list, we went ahead and did that over on this video, so you can take a look at all the Series 4 cards and where to use your 3,000 collector tokens to get them. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, watching, following, and I will see you all when I get back from vacation real soon. Bye, everyone.